Yo, what's up? This is Tiara Thomas, and you're checking out thestash.com.
Tiara Thomas,
Hey, what's up?
how you doing, ma'am? Welcome to the Stash. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's it going?
I'm good.
Good.
So we're gonna talk about the bad influence today.
All
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Your big album that you've been working on with Rico Love and Division One. So tell me about the whole process and why you decided to call your album The Bad Influence.
Well, I've been working on my album for maybe like almost a year now. Most of my album, I wrote myself and as well as co-produced. I worked with Rico Love and Division One on a few tracks, including One Night, the single that's out
Yep.
now, as well as a couple of other tracks from the album.
Yes.
But for the most part, I had a studio set up in my house in Miami, and I had my engineer come through, and I cut a bunch of stuff in my house.
Nice.
So yeah, I cut a bunch of stuff in my house in New York. I've been working with. I didn't try to go after like the big, huge name producers. I just like dope music, like a dope sound. And so I've been working with a producer. His name is Ryan Tedder.
Nice.
There's another Ryan Tedder, but he's a different Ryan.
different Ryan
Yeah, he's
Tedder.
still making a name for himself, but he's
Okay.
really dope. Yeah.
Okay.
As well as Swag, and his name is Swag, and he's really dope too. So I've been working with them, and yeah, I've co-produced and wrote most of my music for the album. So it's very sexy. It's like sexy, vibey, and I talk a lot about like relationships and sex.
Lots of
And-
sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like like drug, and like drugs and stuff. So I decided overall, I felt like my mood, like I was in a bad influence type of mood when I
Okay.
did the album.
Okay.
So, and then for the more obvious reason, the influence of Bad, the song that I did with
The big
Wale.
single.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just thought that would be a good title for the whole project. And I also have a song on the album called Bad Influence.
Now backtracking a little bit, we sat down with Rico Love maybe a few months ago, and he mentioned a lot about you and saying like when you came out with the Bad single with Wale, the easy thing would have been to just kind of like push you out, just kind of like ride the wave of that.
Yeah.
But he believes a lot in the artist development. Tell me what it was like working with him and being an artist who didn't really just kind of like just ride the wave of a hit single, but really wanted to create a whole, artistry for yourself and not just, be this person who had this hot song and then just kind of floats away.
Yeah, definitely. I think the whole Bad thing happened really quickly for me. Like literally like that. And I signed my record deal, and it was just still really soon.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to figure out my sound still. Like even after I did a couple releases after I signed, where I was still trying to get my figure out who I was as an artist. I'd never been signed to a record label. I'd never worked with a bunch of producers. I'd never made an album. So I had to like kind of figure out who I was as an artist and what I wanted to talk about, what kind of message I wanted to give. So that's why I've been working on this album for the amount of time that I have been, because I finally got my sound together. I finally got my concepts together, and it's just like it doesn't sound like anything else that anyone's doing. And that's what people noticed about me in the beginning and noticed about my music in the beginning.
Now you mentioned before, I think off camera, that you have a place in Miami, and since the album is called The Bad Influence, you said it has a lot to do with sex and drugs and just being influenced by a lot of bad things,
Yes.
not just the single that you put out with Wale.
Yeah.
So tell me what's the difference is between just creating your music in a city like Miami that has such a big nightlife and just a lot of bad influences over there.
It's different. It's a different vibe. Like, it's different when I come to New York. I like recording in New York better because I like to, like, before I go to the studio, I want to put my headphones on and go walk through Times Square. I don't live here, so
Yeah.
people in New York probably
I
don't do
know.
that, but I don't live here, so I'm like hyped. I'm from
Yeah,
Indiana,
yeah.
so in Miami, I don't really like get that much into the nightlife. I don't go to the club that many times. I mean, like, I don't go to the club a lot, but it's a really relaxing environment. It's like vacation, but I'm like using like coming up with concepts still. So
Yeah.
I'll be at home like high.
I mean, it's a very inspirational city.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I'm
really
saying?
is.
Yeah.
It is, and a lot of the time I like to like new music that I have or new
Yeah.
tracks that I have that maybe unfinished. I hook them up to my phone and go hook them up to my radio in my car and go drive through Miami and just like blast it. I can do a lot of writing and stuff in the car. I did a lot of that too. So yeah, it's a good environment. It's a good vibe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about, this album that you put out. It's a lot about, it feels like there's a lot of female empowerment in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like you're touching on a lot of things that, some women find maybe a little bit of taboo because it's like, oh, that's not ladylike, or, oh, this isn't, you have to carry yourself a certain way because you're a female artist in the game and, you're a first female artist under someone's label, so you got to do this, that, and the third. But for you, it doesn't seem like you have much, for lack of a better term, a filter. You just kind of say what you feel. Tell me how that's kind of related to your music.
I do like to. I think that's the difference between me and a lot of other artists. I just like. I've always been that kind of person. Even when I was like in, I don't know, if I think back to like third grade, I wasn't bad, but I was like, I got in trouble because I was like, I don't know, I was like,
You had the smart mouth.
yeah, I was like that. I was like
Yeah.
that. And so as I got older and I started to like really discover myself and like, experience a bunch of different things in life, I was like, yo, this is real life. And this is the kind of music that when I was growing up that made me feel like, oh man, I want to impact people like this. So I don't like just putting out songs with words that rhyme.
Yeah.
That's corny and I don't do that. So I like to say what's real, and I am really big on female empowerment and like sexual liberation. Not like, yeah, go have sex with everybody. But I'm just saying, like, like everybody.
Just be real about
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
It is
just
what
be
it
real
is.
about it. Like even if you have a dude, like girls can do. I mean, you can be turned up for your dude. It doesn't have to be like you for everybody. But I talk about that because I mean that's my life. That's how I feel. So.
Is there any artist that kind of like inspired you to be like that and just be like, oh, she gets it. She speaks to what I want to be like. Like who is that? Who would be that artist to you?
Honestly, like I got a lot of my inspiration from the '90s, from '90s music, like TLC, Aaliyah. They were so like, especially like TLC. They were just like some quirky, fun girls,
Yeah.
and they was popping off at the mouth too.
Yeah.
So.
They put it to rhythm, so a lot of people didn't catch what they were saying.
And that's what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna say something crazy, I'll just sing it in a way that doesn't sound like they're rap lyrics, but I'm just singing them.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of inspiration from the '90s, and I also got a lot of inspiration from Lauryn Hill. And we don't sing about the same types of things, but she was just so raw, and that's the reason why I started playing guitar. I was listening to Lauryn Hill and Indie Irie, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Those black girls can play guitar, and they got those rich voices like that. So I took that and I added my own element to it. So I got a lot of influence from a lot of women from the '90s, and yeah.
Now, you kind of carry a little bit more weight with you, when you're putting out this project and having to try and, I guess, I don't know, follow the success of Bad or follow the success of, this big single that just kind of threw you out there, when you were 23 years old at the time, 22?
Yeah, I guess I was 23.
Yeah, you pretty much a kid, still kind of are.
I was like,
very
I
young.
wasn't even out of college for 6 months, I don't think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So is there a lot of pressure, when it comes to that? You know what I mean? Especially when you're the first artist out of a guy like Rico Love, who's, sold billions of albums and done all these things in the music game. Like, what's the pressure like for that, to kind of like follow that success or come close to it?
I think like as an artist, you just have to be able to It's pressure. It's definitely pressure. And I did feel really pressured in the beginning, like, okay, I got to make a bunch of songs like that. But then, like, once you start trying too hard, then you start veering off from what you're trying to do. So I had to really stay focused on, like, be true to myself. The type of music that I was confident in when I was in high school and I was, beatboxing and playing my guitar on my laptop. So I had to go back to the type of music that I was making then, the type of person that I was then, and just tap into that because I mean it is a lot of pressure when you sign a record deal. It's not you got a lot of people around you, and everybody doesn't maybe somebody doesn't like this song or they don't like this sound or they don't like this sound. So you got to really know like who you are as an artist and really fight to be that person.
Was there hey, I'm trying to figure out a way to word this, but was there any like sort of regret without, I know there was a lot of controversy with, you and Wale, and he said some things and you said some things, and was there any type of controversy as far as or regret with like, okay, maybe I should have went with this guy, or just getting some type of like impatience with, putting out the project, or would you like to have taken the road that you have as far as it being kind of long winding and developing yourself as an artist?
I mean, it's a journey. Like you'd be so surprised at like stuff that the biggest artists you can think of went through at the beginning of their career. So I got a rough start to the career because of that, because of the Wale situation. But I mean, me and Wale are good. We don't have any beef. I just talked to him like a couple days ago, and he was my first friend in the industry. He's still my friend. We fell out. We did fall out, and it just that situation wasn't going to work out. So it's a lot of time has passed, and I don't hold grudges, and if that's your true friend, then it'll come back around. So
yeah.
It's not we don't have any bad blood or anything like that.
Okay, cool. So tell me about implementing your guitar to a lot of your music and the R&B, because you said India Ari is a big influence, Lauryn Hill's a big influence. Tell me how you've implemented playing guitar to a lot of your music.
Well, a lot of the songs that sometimes I may write a song on the guitar and then take it to a producer and they'll produce around it. And sometimes they won't even keep the guitar.
They'll probably take the melody or something.
Yeah, just take the melody, yeah. I didn't want to be the artist. I definitely didn't want to be put in a box as far as, because, everybody saw I was on YouTube doing these YouTube videos with my guitar. I didn't want to be put in a box where, like, that's the guitar girl. I can play guitar. I do play guitar. Like, I play guitar shows. I have guitar songs on the album, but that's not completely me as an artist.
Okay.
And I don't think people have got the chance to, like, really see me and the full the full picture yet. So it's a lot of different elements. So I do play guitar on some of the songs. And then songs that don't have guitar in them at all, obviously, I turn a lot of those songs into acoustic songs because it's just a different version.
Yeah, gives it a better vibe.
Yeah, something to do that for something intimate that, with like a few people. So yeah, I learn my songs on the guitar.
All right, give me the elevator speech. Like, say I didn't know who you were, you didn't know who I was, and we're just like, I got this album, The Bad Influence, coming out. Tell me why I should listen to it.
You should listen to it because it's just dope as fuck.
Sold.
Like, I mean, that's all. Yeah. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. It is a sexy album. Like, I'm not lying. I'm not like gassing up my own album, but it's.
Give me an example of the sexiness of the album. Give me like a song that probably isn't out yet that people will listen to and be like, oh.
I have a song called 10. And basically the song is just saying, I'm basically putting myself, see, a lot of the times when I write music, maybe I might put myself in a perspective of a woman, any kind of woman. I don't care. Like, if girls get fucked up and they text people and they
drunk texting.
Yeah, and they do
We've
stuff.
all been
Yeah,
guilty of it.
yeah. They turn into someone else. Like
Yeah.
everybody does. You like turn into someone else. So basically, in the song, I'm saying I'm on 10 the whole song, and so you're down to do all this freaky shit because you're on 10. So yeah, it's sexy, and that's got Rico Love on it too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, have you been the victim of the drunk text, or you've drunk sex a lot of people?
I've been the victim. I've been the victim and the what's the other person? The victim and the who's the opposite of the victim?
The receiver, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been both. I've done both.
Situations.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Just if there's anything else you wanna add as far as the album date release, next single, next video.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at Tiara_Thomas, as well as Instagram. You could also find me on Facebook at Tiara Thomas. I think that's what it is. And I don't have a date for my album yet, but I will soon. So as soon as I do, everyone's going to know about it. Follow me on my social media and keep up with everything that's going to be happening soon.
Cool.